101. This is by Benny O'Regan. Today we were going to do this by OBS, but unfortunately it won't give me the option. So I am doing this by my phone. So not only will you see how I do by Photoshop, you will actually see a nice way of how I video edit through the duration of this course. So anyway, what you need to do is open up Adobe Photoshop if you have it already on your screen. So I'm going through the desktop on this, and we're going to take a little bit of a while to open it up and let that load away. It is opened up. We want to see if we can start off doing a few things that will help you understand the very basics of the tools of the Photoshop interface, see how we use the palettes, and hopefully we know how to finish off by saving it and exporting it as well. So first thing to do is go to the file on top. Now you can take a choice of going on a new one, or you can open something. So I want to import a picture because this is part of what I want to do. So it's probably the easiest option. So click on open and find it in the files that you want to go at. I'm probably going to do how I made my logo. So I'm going to click on this picture here and it should open up on the screen. So now we want to understand what tools have we got. So all the tools are generally on the left side of the panel screen. So the first one would be your move tool. So that would be able to help you move any objects that you have on screen. We've opened this. Just make sure that you over here on your layer panel that you unlock it, so that you'll be able to do many things. So on the left side you will find many of the tools that can be used to help you manipulate a particular image or photo to your own liking. So some of the things are, we got the object move tool, so we can move anything we want. So even if we click on this, we can move the size of it behind the canvas that the picture had originally been imported on. Other tools as well that we can look at is the crop tool, so that can resize, reshape it as much as we want and see where we want to put it to a particular size. So, and then you can click it up here. Another thing we can also use is the text box. So once you have a text, you see that there's a number of things that do come up on the top drop down. So when you have here your font. So I'm going to work with this font here. It only has one size, but even if you try another one that is a standard one like Arial, you'll see that there are many other options that you can work with as well. But I'm going to stick with my Aveni as I downloaded it. And you can also pick onto the color. So if you have a color for the text, here it is. So I'm going to go with the green because it represents Ireland. So you can click on a box right here. I'm going to cap lock it. I'm going to call it Tickets Ireland. Once I've done that, and I'm happy enough with that, then I can do various things with the text. So one of the things I can do is move it and try and get it in a line. Another thing I can do is work with the size of it. So if I click on it here again, get it at the box, as you see, it expands. It can go shorter. And another thing you can do is stretch it. So if you want to stretch it out like so, and you want to make something different with regards to it, you can always work within the layer style panel. So I often like to use an outline of black. So using a stroke can be very helpful in terms of making the text stand out just that little bit more. And texture as well can give some nice little different shapes if you wish to go onto it. So I want to have a leafy shape. So if we zoom in on it, we can see that the shape has changed completely, or the texture, and it has a black outline. So these are just two things that you can do with regards to working with the text, moving up and down work it within your lines. So, and click OK for that. Another thing to focus on is the palette that you'll find down in this part on the tool panel. So I have a green and a blue one, so I want to kind of change something on the screen into something I prefer. So you can just click on the one that you actually want, change it into a different color. So I'm gonna just pick, if I can find it, orange. Yeah, I'll go with that. So that'll be saved. So another thing you can do with regards to changing colors on it is what I would like to use is the bucket tool. If I can find it. Here we go. So bucket tool. So I click on that. I can click on what I want to change on it. So I want to change something on the picture itself. So I want to put that here. Click on one and it's gone to green. If I decide to change the color around on the palette into the orange, I'm going to click it over on this one. And now, as you see, I've changed the colors completely, given the Irish flag. Now let's just make some adjustments to this image. So over here on the right hand side, you have many adjustments on the panel. So a lot of times I would go for saturation. You'll see the difference in the color as it changes. As you see, it's gone darker when you're using the hue. You can move up this way. It's getting a bit brighter, a bit sunnier. If it goes down here, it gets a bit gray and dull. So we'll keep it up here. And then you got the lightness as well. You don't want to go up too high and you don't want to go down too low. So somewhere in the middle would be preferable. Have it nice and bright. So that's what we've done with the saturation here. You can go on to the brightness and the contrast as well. Moving it up and down. Give it a bit more. Give it a bit less. Vibrance as well. More saturation. And if there's anything else that you can see there, color balance as well, and also can help manipulate the image to your own particular liking, like so. So you'll have this all along your panel down here that you can see and go into, and this is what we're at as it is at the moment. So this is all the different adjustments that you can do in regards to the image and how to manipulate it. Okay, and you'll find it right here. And one of the last things I'm going to show you is how you can get something like this into a PNG. So one of the tools I like to use is this thing called the magic wand. The magic wand will be able to recognize certain outlines in your image and will be able to highlight it if you wish to remove a particular part on the image. So make sure you have what you need to have on to be highlighted. So I'm going for the actual image with the table. Click on something and it should be highlighted like so. Move into select and mask. As you see now, a lot of the chunk has kind of gone away, but we don't want that. So one thing you can do is invert it, and that way the other part has gone away. And you can repeat the cycle like so. Again, select the mask. Again, don't be afraid. I know my table's gone away, but again, if you invert it, it will take the other part of what you need. And so forth, and so forth. Okay, so once you're happy enough with that, the last thing we have to do is understand how we're going to get it as a file that we can export to other things and other platforms that we wish to use it. So we go up to File here, go down to Export, and because I've gotten rid of the background, it is very suitable to do a quick export as a PNG file. As you can see there, all I have to do now is give it a new name. So I'm going to call this Tekis OBS Photoshop. Just any name will do. Make sure you know where you want to find it. So I'm going to keep it in my desktop and save. So as that saves as it is, I should be able to retrieve it on my front here somewhere. And we see it right there. It is now saved. If I click it open as a PNG file, this is what we're looking at. So also, to save your file, you can also find this on your drop down menu in your file. You have save and save as. And save can go automatic, but if you don't know where it's going to automatically go, press save as and then find wherever you want to call it. So I'm going to call it again Tekis OBS Photoshop, and that's going to be saved on my desktop. So I have the file saved in a Photoshop format, but you also have a drop downs of other formats as well, but I'm going to stick with the default and then save. It will ask you for your compatibility, just click OK. Thank you for taking the Photoshop 101 course with me, Benny O'Regan, and just understanding how the Photoshop interface works. Hadouken!